I'll watch the tape on the drive home, and just to get rid of it, because I don't want to see it, and I want to just get it done as quickly as I can. The first 40 minutes will be that tape, and then I'll throw it out the window. And
Another Red and Blue viewer, John Calipari. Welcome to the show. It's not 40 minutes, it only seems like an hour and a half.
That's right.
Gupper and the gang ready to talk UK and U of L basketball. Any football? Yeah, Howie's actually got some football on the show.
Got a little football.
Still football going on there. Say hello to Daryl Bird of the Cat's Paws, who was sitting in a well-lit room for the first time. Freedom Hall was awful.
Freedom Hall was sad. I've been covering basketball games at Freedom Hall off and on since 1981, I think. And saw some wonderful games in there. Great atmosphere, such a wonderful old building. And to see the disrepair that it has fallen into is really, really sad. No wireless downstairs. The lights went out. They came back on. It was kind of a candlelight mood setting. Great for, I guess, the ambiance, but horrible for taking photos, as we found out. Just really sad. You can't blame the Fair Board. It's one game a year. You can't blame UK for being upset about it if they are, because it was in such a bad shape. Even they couldn't even have enough electricity to do their own thing. They kids running back and forth with stats all night, making copies because there was no.
It was awful.
It was it was a mess.
Well, Howie, I know your last memory of Freedom Hall is Kyle Couric and guys beating Syracuse. Don't go back. It will kill your memory of Freedom Hall. Don't go back.
Well, guys, I'm a little upset because I'd asked the Fair Board to put down straw so you guys would feel right at home, but apparently they forgot the straw and the farm animals. So, no, we are glad to be at the Yum Center.
We were complaining about the wireless, and it's like, well, the farm show, the animals really don't need wireless.
They do not.
The cows are not texting, as far as we know.
But we need to get into our lightning round. The lightning round on the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Corner. Locations all across one end of the Commonwealth to the other, and where you are right now by going to KentuckyCornerOnline.com. Well, who's hot for the University of Kentucky is rebounding. Those Cats may not be able to put the ball in the basket, but they are flat cleaning the glass.
We just try to come out and get every rebound, especially me. Every time the ball goes, I think every rebound is mine. I just try to go get it.
Well, I think Anthony's way tougher than he was earlier, so he'll come up with balls, and Terrence is trying to crack it out, and I thought he did better today, and he's going after some tough rebounds, and they're pulling balls in. I mean, there's been a lot of missed shots, on these teams we're playing, so there's a lot of opportunities for rebounding.
Yeah, that's the one aspect of the game you don't have to worry about going into conference play. Davis is a lot tougher. They're not just winning the rebounding battle against Louisville and Little Rock, they're crushing. I mean, it's ridiculous. Huge double-digit advantage on the boards, and Anthony Davis is getting a lot of them because of that outrageous reach that he has. And he's a more physical player. If you go back and look at the tape from early in the season, he was like, what? Not sure what's going on. He was doing it all with athleticism. Now he's banging around and fighting for it like he's supposed to. You don't have to worry about that. That is very hot, the rebounding.
One of the incredible things about him, Daryl, is he's a lot of times out of position to get the rebound,
Yep.
but he'll reach back and get it. It's incredible.
Yeah, he has jumped up and reached out over people and pulled the rebound back in, which has to just absolutely mesmerize the poor guy trying to get the rebound.
Who's hot for the University of Louisville? Those hard-working Cods, as Rick might say. He says this is one of the hardest-working basketball teams he's ever coached, but effort will not be enough to beat the better teams in the country.
I think this is one of the hardest working teams I've coached. I think they're limited in a lot of areas. Could have put ourselves in a situation if we made smart decisions to win the game. We didn't. But that's really with only one player playing well because of incredible effort. But effort's not enough to beat a team like Kentucky. It's got to be more. You can't beat a Kentucky. You're not going to beat a Syracuse on effort. You're just not going to do it. So it's got to be effort and execution, the two E's. And we're going to get to that point.
You ever hear somebody who failed at something say, yeah, but they tried really hard?
That's every week on the show.
I mean, and that's really what it came down to for Louisville against Kentucky, is it's not good enough to just try really hard. They've got to execute more effectively. I think they will get there, and Rick said he thinks they'll get there, but they're certainly not there yet. Their offensive execution is just off. They are not rebounding like they should. They just absolutely put it on St. John's, but it's St. John's. St. John's isn't very good this year.
Who's not hot is Marcus Teague, and here's another example of that. In that game against Arkansas Little Rock, Kentucky actually started playing better. After Teague picked up his fourth foul, he went to the bench, Lamb went to the point.
But obviously, without him on the court, we played better. I mean, there's not no argument there. But he has to play well for us to win. We also know that.
Yeah, Marcus Teague is an interesting challenge, isn't he? We've had that conversation many times since basketball started on this show about it's going to take him longer than it took Brandon Knight and John Wall especially. He's used to scoring a lot of points. He's got to learn how to run the team, and he's still struggling to understand that the coach is ripping you a new one. Don't take it personally. There was one point in this game, Little Rock, where Cal absolutely lit him up, and coming out of the huddle, Terrence Jones was trying, give him 5, shake hand, let's go, and he wouldn't even do it. He was so mad about getting yelled at. It's an immaturity issue that he's just going to have to fight through. He really is.
Who's not hot at the University of Louisville is Wayne Blackshear. Now, you think you put on a little weight over the holidays. How about Wayne coming off that shoulder operation? Apparently, he's added 15 pounds he didn't really need, and Coach is not happy.
The problem with Wayne is every time he gets hurt, he puts on 15 pounds. So you got a major problem. We should be spending this time just getting his basketball skills in order, and we're not. We're spending this time trying to get 15 pounds off of him just to get him in shape. And we didn't do a very good job of monitoring his diet while he was hurt. He couldn't work out, so you're going to put on some weight. And you expect to put on 3 to 6 pounds. Instead, he put on 15. So that hurt us a little bit. And we should have monitored his diet, and we did not.
To hear Rick Pitino tell it, he came back from the holidays looking like the Nutty Professor. I mean, he had like the full-on fat suit on. No, but 15 pounds. Here's the thing: he apparently had gained 15 pounds before he had the other shoulder, and he lost it in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So I think he'll be back faster. I think Rick was talking about this as an example of why he's not back yet. The clips you just saw were Shane Bohannon. That's Louisville's other top recruit. That's the level of recruit Wayne Blackshear is going to be. So I think people, when they say, Louisville just doesn't have enough talent, one of your McDonald's All-Americans hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
So I think people, once he's healthy, he's so good. I mean, he's really, really good.
Will Louisville get Blackshear and Ventrese and Justice and whomever else is nicked up? Will they get them back in time? They can actually fold this into a team that's going to be to reckon with in March. Are they still going to be experimenting with this thing until we get to the tournaments?
That's a great question. And whether or not somebody else gets hurt in the meantime. Ventrese, I don't think, will be a contributor this year. Elijah Justice is back. Wayne Blackshear, I think he'll probably be back in the next 2 weeks. So I think that he'll be fine. The question is, can he come far enough to really be a contributor this year? I think he can. He's an extremely good player.
Well, the buzz is Cal concerned about his Cats, who he says were dogging it a little bit against Arkansas Little Rock.
You're tired. If you're tired, take yourself out. You go over to the bench and you put the towel over your head like you just ran a marathon. Well, why are you playing then if you're that tired? Let somebody else play. And that's the I wasn't raising my voice, and they said I was mad. I guess that sounds mad, but it's, we got a ways to go. I mean, this is not going to be easy.
People in the upper deck could hear him when he was angry at some of the players. You're right. We saw the classic young team had a huge letdown after a big win over Louisville.
Yep, that's right.
And what do you mean the coach isn't happy with the fact we beat Louisville? He's yelling at us 2 days later. We're playing Little Rock. For crying out loud, he's not happy with how we're playing. No, he wasn't, because you weren't playing very well at all. Better to learn that lesson in that game than to come off a big win and go on the SEC and lose to somebody like an LSU that you have no business losing to if you don't bring it every night.
The buzz at the University of Louisville is about football recruiting. Now, of course, Charlie Strong and the Cars lost their bowl game, but they've been winning since, not only picking up commitments from high school players, but also some transfers from places like the University of Florida.
Well, we have to go out and we have to recruit, and we have some needs. You have the linebacker position that we have to get better at. You have some defensive linemen that we need to go recruit. It's all about recruiting, and it's all about getting the right guys in this program. There's some guys left in this program. They've been playing hard, but now we have to build, and we have to continue to build to move this program forward.
And they are definitely building. I mean, the amount of players that they're bringing in this class is really, really impressive. Earlier this week, they got a commitment from a guy that's previously committed to Miami. This kid's name's James Burgess. He's a linebacker. They've got 2 guys in the U.S. Army All-American game who will be making the decision on national television, and Louisville stands a very good shot. These kids' names, Nick Dawson, he's a linebacker out of Charlotte, and Keith Brown, another linebacker, one of the top 5 linebackers in the country. I mean, they could. keep in mind the U.S. Army All-American game is kind of like the football equivalent of the McDonald's All-American game.
Okay.
And then you add in the added recruiting advantage of those guys making their decision on national television on NBC, and Louisville could have 2 of those guys. That'd be huge. Probably, if that happens, it'd be the biggest day in Louisville football recruiting history ever.
I don't know why they pay Rick and Cal so much when you've got guys like us and you helping them coach. I mean, here you go, Howie, from our Red and Blue Crew Facebook page, which you can go to, Red and Blue, go to Facebook, Red and Blue Review, spell the whole thing out. Clay Abels from Georgetown, Howie's got a suggestion for Rick. If I was Rick, I'd switch the lineup, he says. I'd put Siva and Kirk on the bench and start Smith and Buckles. What do you think about that?
Well, I think if Buckles were healthy, you could do that. He's still recovering from that knee injury. I do think that Russ Smith has been significantly more effective in the last 3 or 4 games than Peyton Siva.
Yeah.
I think Peyton Siva is still struggling with injury. Why not? I mean, I understand that, you practiced a lot with Peyton Siva there, and that Russ Smith is a little better at the shooting guard. But, move some things around. I think Kyle Keurig needed a kick in the pants after that Kentucky game. I think he got it. Judging by the way he played against St. John's, I don't think taking him out of the lineup at this point would work anything, because I think he already understands, hey, I didn't get the job done.
We come back. Darius Miller goes clubbing in Louisville and does not break curfew. We'll tell you how that happened after Darryl tells us about the Cat's Paws edition featuring No Kidding.
No kidding is right. No kidding around. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is one player you will never hear John Calipari said played like he was tired, wasn't ready to come out. The kid brings it all the time. On the cover for that Louisville win, story inside about how the night before the game he spent the night with his mama. Mama was in, who'd been in the hospital, and how much she means to him, how much family is important to him. That is in there, as well as complete coverage, SEC preview, all the recruiting news you would ever need. Just give us a call, 800-641-3302.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
I am not going in there. I'm not going in there either, and you can't make me. You can't make me.
Darryl can't make Howie take the polar plunge, but you can. Hi, I'm Gary Gupton, the president of Special Olympics Kentucky. UK fans, wouldn't you love to see Howie in his cardinal red colors bobbing up and down in this freezing cold water? Then go to SOKY.org, click the red and blue plunge button, make a tax-deductible gift to Special Olympics Kentucky, and enjoy watching Howie getting his at the polar plunge.
I'm Teresa Bachman with the exciting new force in the midsize car market. The new Passat has arrived at Bachman Volkswagen. It's a new force in safety, premium features, and fuel economy, and it's exclusively for everyone at Bachman Volkswagen. The redesigned Passat is premium without a premium price. They're in stock at Bachman Volkswagen, your #1 Volkswagen dealer. The force is strong with this one.
Bachman makes a difference.
Kentucky Corner is giving UK fans a new cheer this season.
Pink!
Think Power Pink when you dress Big Blue this season. Kentucky Corner is the only place to find hot new colors and styles the Big Blue Nation craves.
Polka dot!
Kentucky Corner is in Louisville, Lexington, Ashland, Florence, E-Town, Clarksville, Paducah, and with Kentucky Corner online, there's a Kentucky Corner on your corner.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
What Makes a Champion brought to you by the Ali Center. And today, Jeannie Conkey says one of the champ's core values is dedication.
Muhammad Ali once said that champions aren't made in gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. What makes a champion? Dedication. Come learn more at the Ali Center.
Dedication certainly describes the newest member of Kentucky's 1,000-point club, that being Darius Miller.
It's an honor to be a part of something like this, especially in the program that we're in. And, it feels good. I'm excited about it, and I'm just blessed to be a part of something like that.
Dedication. He needs to have his own little plaque in that club. This kid survived Billy Gillispie and nearly broke him his freshman year. Remember Billy Gillispie came out and said he may be the greatest player ever to play here, and then benched him, and what mind games he played with him, almost ruined him. And to fight back, and as we talked before the show, he's been recruited over every single year. He's still hanging in there. And make note, people, the 58th and possibly final member of the 1,000-point club as long as John Calipari is your coach.
That's incredible to think about, Darryl. I mean, that's a legitimate possibility.
Yeah, the one and dones, they're not going to stay around long enough to get 1,000 points. And Cal's going to play the freshman every year. So anybody who does hang around 4 years probably won't get enough playing time to get anywhere near 1,000 points.
Wow. Hey,
maybe the last one.
Having a teenager in your house, you know how troublesome that can be. Now you know what John Calipari is experiencing as we get into our Game Time storylines.
Look, I'm coaching all freshmen, and that's what's happened, and it's just hard. I mean, it's just, it wears on you, and it wears you out. And they're trying, and they're listening, and they like each other, but they're not taking that next leap.
You know, I've heard John talking about this quite a bit this season, so I asked him after that Arkansas game if coaching this bunch of freshmen is more difficult than the previous two classes.
They're all different. I mean, I probably, as I'm sitting through it, say this is rougher. But if I thought back to some of the stuff I had to deal with, and 6 losses on the road last year, and then having a team that we just couldn't get over the hump that the following year or the year before, I don't know. It's just the challenge every year is different, and the expectations are always high. There's no off year here, and hopefully, I want to enjoy coaching. But that means let's just go out and fight like heck. We're going to turn it over some minute, but we're not getting beat to balls, and we're not, we're playing, and we're not acting cool. We're going to fly up and down that court. We're going to be in great condition. And then I enjoy coaching. And miss shots, and you turn it over some, and blah, 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 blah. That's basketball. But the other stuff kind of aggravates you.
Calipari has said this all 3 seasons he's been in Lexington. Well, I'm just coaching a bunch of freshmen, but you can tell, and if you're around it enough every day, that this one is wearing on him a little, because it's just taking longer than he would like. And it starts with the point guard, Marcus Teague, right there. That if he comes along quick, then Cal's happy, because it's his point guard, and that's Cal's position, and the point guard controls so much. So as soon as he comes along, he starts making strides. I think Cal's mood will improve. But he's right. Last year's team, the 6 losses on the road. The first year he had to coach and survive through DeMarcus Cousins, who was a handful every single day of his life. So the challenge is there. This one is just different. This was frustrating, I think, because he realizes this team has the potential to be better than both of those teams. Get your act together, boys. Let's go.
And he's having to still coach DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, the word is, with all the stuff blowing up with the Kings, that Cal got involved in that, trying to, still coach.
And he always will.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
Well, one of the other topics that we discovered after that Kentucky game belongs to Kyle Kirk. Here's a smart kid who I think has finally figured out that you got to bring it every time you lace them up.
What Kentucky did is what a lot of teams are going to do. When we came off a pick and roll, we drove to the basket. They just shadowed him, face guarded him in the corner, and didn't let him have his shot. And Kyle's got to learn to do more. Now, is he capable of doing more? Chris Smith, is he capable of doing? Maybe not. That remains to be seen. He's been told that before. He was told to move, and he made token cuts instead of using the screen. Matter of fact, he got the 3rd foul on Gorky by not cutting properly, and Gorky had to step out and chicken wing him. So it's he knows, he's been told he's going to be played that way, and that he has to move without the basketball. And he didn't get the job done in that game, so he has no one to blame but the person in the mirror.
Did you catch that? I don't know if you caught that. Here's what Rick Pitino said right in the middle of that soundbite. Is he capable of doing more? I'm just not sure. Here's what's happened. Let's do a little theater. In practice, Rick Pitino comes in and he says, Kyle, we've just got to change how we use you. You're clearly a one-dimensional player, so we've got to alter our offense because you're so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And then walks out of the room and just lets Kyle stew in that. I mean, essentially what he's saying is, I'm not sure Kyle Keurig can be a real basketball player. He's just a shooter.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the motivation that is for Kyle Keurig? I mean, that's what Rick Pitino's going to do. I mean, that's what he's been doing the last week. And so, I think you'll see Kyle Keurig a lot more motivated, a lot more moving around and trying to prove his coach wrong.
One of the things that the Kentucky basketball team learned on their trip to Freedom Hall to play Arkansas Little Rock is how tough it's going to be for this bunch to win on the road. Now, this Arkansas Little Rock team came out hot. They played Kentucky back on their heels. That game is played in Starkville. That's probably a loss. The road is going to be tough on this year's team.
And every road game is a sellout. There are no empty seats when we go on the road. And it's the biggest game of the century. We're going into a town where the whole town shuts down because here comes Kentucky. And if we think that we're going to act tired or not going to be, I don't know why these guys are playing so hard. If that's how we're going to be, then we're going to take some L's.
They took 6 last year on the road. You want to have some fun, go look up the media guides for the SEC schools and look up the attendance figures. Every game UK's not there. It's comical. That's the one sellout of the year in a lot of places. And some of that UK fans making the trip, a lot of it, they just want to turn out to see the show because it's a national brand again, and people are going to be curious, and they're going to come out and want to see that, and they do. That's why Kentucky's got to play better. You look at the SEC schedule, you can see a loss at Vanderbilt even if you play well. You can see a loss at Mississippi State because they're playing really well, but it's like last year. You lose at Georgia? Really? You're not going to do that. Well, they did last year, and this team has got to show that it can play better than that. They do have Auburn. First road test. They should win. We'll find out early.
Hey, the Cards had to go overtime to break the 60-point barrier against Vanderbilt. They had to knock in a couple of late threes to break the 60-point barrier against Kentucky. And so Coach Pitino was asked, what's he got to do to jumpstart his offense?
Stop playing Kentucky. The offense, Kentucky's a great defensive team, and they're the #1 defensive team in the country. So, you can't judge your offense based against Kentucky. Now, we didn't do a good job in that game. We had some open shots we didn't take, and then our strategy was to go inside and try to get them in foul trouble, and we didn't do that enough.
Well, he's right that part of the issue was playing Kentucky and how good Kentucky is on defense. I think it's a little bit more than that. I think Louisville's offense is still struggling in some ways. I think they've got to figure out what's wrong with Peyton Siva and get him healthy and all that kind of thing to be a much more effective team in the Big East.
When we come back, we'll talk about what the Cats and Cards need to fix as they head into conference play. As we head that way, Howie, tell us about CardinalSports.com.
You got it. The best place to get all your recruiting news this weekend. Football recruiting news is heating up. We're almost to signing day. Be sure, CardinalSports.com. Check it out.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
I am not going in there. I'm not going in there either, and you can't make me. You can't make me.
Daryl can't make Howie take the polar plunge, but you can. Hi, I'm Gary Gupton, the president of Special Olympics Kentucky.
UK fans, wouldn't you love to see Howie in his cardinal red colors bobbing up and down in this freezing cold water? Then go to SOKY.org, click the red and blue plunge button, make a tax-deductible gift to Special Olympics Kentucky, and enjoy watching Howie getting his at the polar plunge.
I'm Teresa Bachman with the exciting new force in the midsize car market. The new Passat has arrived at Bachman Volkswagen. It's a new force in safety, premium features, and fuel economy, and it's exclusively for everyone at Bachman Volkswagen. The redesigned Passat is premium without a premium price. They're in stock at Bachman Volkswagen, your #1 Volkswagen dealer. The force is strong with this one.
Bachman makes a difference.
Kentucky Corner is giving UK fans a new cheer this season.
Pink!
Think Power Pink when you dress Big Blue this season. Kentucky Corner is the only place to find hot new colors and styles the Big Blue Nation craves.
Polka dot!
Kentucky Corner is in Louisville, Lexington, Ashland, Florence, E-Town, Clarksville, Paducah, and with Kentucky Corner online, there's a Kentucky Corner on your corner.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
What needs fixing on the Red and Blue Review? Brought to you by Doug Jones Home Improvement.
What needs fixing on this UK basketball team? Cal says these guys have to learn to play with more intensity.
People watch us play and say your team plays hard and they compete. We do, but this team has about a 40% they can grow. And we just I'm not going to back up off them, and told individual players I thought Terrence was better today. Thought he did better, and now he's got to build on this. Still wanted him to dunk a couple balls. But the stuff got physical. I mean, they were banging.
I think it comes back to what we were talking about earlier. So they still have 40% to grow. I think it's the potential of how good they can be is driving Cal a little crazy because conference season is underway. You need to start improving fast now.
What needs fixing for the University of Louisville is making up for that home conference loss to Georgetown.
And you open up 0-1 with a loss at home, your back is to the wall. So we realize right now that every game must be played like a tournament game.
The good news for Louisville is their first 4 Big East games after that Georgetown game are all very winnable. I mean, very winnable. You got St. John's, you got Notre Dame, who's not very good. I think Louisville will be at least 4-1, and that'll be a good kickstart to the Big East.
So there's a pretty good chance that both of these teams, Kentucky and Louisville, will be about where they are, certainly in the top 10 as we head into February, which makes that a very important stretch as we head toward March. Catch you this weekend on the Red and Blue Review post-game show. The Red and Blue Review has been brought to you by PNC Bank, Kentucky Corner, Allstate Ford Truck Sales, and the Muhammad Ali Center.
I'm not going in there. I'm not going in there either, and you can't make me. You can't make me.
Daryl can't make Howard take the polar plunge, but you can. Hi, I'm Gary Gupton, the president of Special Olympics Kentucky.
Card fans, wouldn't you love to see Daryl in his Kentucky blue bobbing up and down in this freezing cold water? Then go to SOKY.org, click the red and blue plunge button, make a tax-deductible gift to Special Olympics Kentucky, and then enjoy watching Daryl getting his at the polar plunge.